Hi, everyone. We just wanted to come on here and really just speak from the heart and really share our raw and real journey of being truly free from alcohol. You know, it's incredible to think what an amazing transformation being alcohol free has done for us, personally, on a spiritual level, on a mindset, and also being, parents.
Yeah, so really, this is our own personal journey experiences from living in an alcohol culture, alcohol society, from us drinking a lot to like so many families and parents and everyone else that are doing with kids, and just really our own personal experiences. But most importantly, this is no judgment, right?
No.
We're not here to judge people that are drinking, people that do drink. We have lots of friends that still drink on here. This is our own personal experiences and our own spirituality and our own divine connection. How it's helped us out as individuals, it helps out as a couple, and just changed our lives all around. So again, no judgment drinking, but we want to give you the raw, real truth here that you don't hear or see anywhere out there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for me, I grew up, in a household, really didn't drink. I would say my parents had wine every now and then. They never really talked to me about drinking. I mean, yes, there was like the dare class and whatnot, but when you're a teenager, you're curious. So I would say my first real experience was back in high school, and I was 14 and I lived in Iowa, and started drinking and going to kegers and things like that and thinking it was cool.
I mean, for me growing up, typical household, but really, my parents, I never really remember seeing a lot of drinking going on. They always kept a lot of their hard liquors in their closets. So if they were drinking, it was done in their bedroom or just kind of out of sight. But I just kind of grew up in a house where, hey, I know my parents drink. I don't know how often. They never really educated about it, never talked about it. It's just the typical, it's
Yeah.
bad, it's bad, it's bad. Wait till you're 21, you can try it. And so for me, it really started off like more like in junior high age. I remember being in class. These kids all brought in these Gatorade, Powerade bottles. They put a bunch of tequila or vodka in these bottles, and we sit back in class just start drinking tequila and vodka and Gatorade bottles. And that's when it started for me. Was just ever since then, just a continuous evolution. Junior high I was drinking, and then in high school you drink more as well. And that was then until I went to the Marine Corps, which got a little different. But for you though, anything else from junior high or high school or anything?
Well, I mean, like I said, I didn't drink necessarily in junior high. So for me, it was definitely like high school and doing that. And then, I would say I was never really addicted. Like I would never black out drink, right? To the point of getting drunk. It was more of like that tipsy, freeing feeling, but never to the point of being like wicked hungover. Um, that was actually experience with you.
Right. And then so for me, right out of high school, right, 9/11 happened. I went right to the Marine Corps. And for any veterans in general, it doesn't matter what branch you're in, even if you're military right now on here, but Marines especially, right? I mean, we drink some hard liquor. So whether you're 18 or 19 or 20, it didn't matter. We all drink. We know this on here. So it just became part of the culture of being a Marine is like you just drink some hard liquor on the weekends. When you went to parties, it was hard liquor you were drinking all the time too. So that just became another like, hey, this is just what we do. You're in the Marine Corps, you just drink hard. You go to parties, events, Marine Corps balls, you go anywhere, it's always hard liquor. A lot of the time, just open bar. We all bring things out there. So for years, it was just a lot of heavy drinking just from that own society and culture of being in the Marine Corps.
Yeah, and I'd say like during this time for you, it was college for me, and so I was going to frat parties, sorority parties, and things
I don't
like
mean to
that.
cut you off, but really
Yeah,
quick, so in case you say she and I were not together in the Marine Corps. So she, like she was saying, she went to Arizona State
yeah,
University or ASU. So two totally different avenues. Mine's Marine Corps life. Hers is the typical ASU
college.
college
Yeah,
life.
for sure. And honestly, I had a really high tolerance. Like I literally could drink guys under the table. I'm not even kidding you. I remember playing this game. I think it was called A Hole. I'm not gonna cuss, but that's what it was. And it was with Jaeger and just taking shots and shots and drinking guys under the table, frat guys. And I was like, yeah, I thought it was just so cool. And then going to a dance club afterwards. But there is a point to this because when I met David, like, nope, definitely he's not lying when when he says that Marines drink because yeah, that really put me in my place.
Yes, I mean, her and I have a very unique perspective. Typical ASU college life. Mine's the Marine Corps life. And for me, this will resonate with a lot of veterans and military out there. I mean, I went to OEF, OIF. I went to the Iraq War. I was in it as well. I got injured when I was over in Iraq. Long story short, I ended up getting out of the Marine Corps from that. And as so many veterans and people in the military can relate, I get kind of goosebumps when I see her talking about it is when you get out, right, you just lose so much of yourself and society and the VA, for you don't know, Veterans Affairs.
Mm.
Back then, it was just popping out Oxycontin. That was the
Oh
huge,
my
big
gosh.
Oxy craze back then. So
Yeah.
here I am getting a bunch of Oxy, getting alcohol all the time. Then it just became to myself like, hey, I'm going to buy a bottle of hard liquor every week. And it just became part of who I was. Again, never was an alcoholic. I never blacked out, but definitely was drinking too much alcohol. I didn't need the alcohol, but I had nothing else to cope with, no one else to help me with. So after the Marine Corps, moving back in with her now, we get married, have our house. I was just always having a bottle of hard liquor on there and just not really knowing where to go. So that was just my continuous evolution after getting out of the Marine Corps and after being with the VA and just kind of starting our life together. No kids yet, but just alcohol is just continuously becoming more and more involved in our everyday life.
Yeah. Well, I would say though, a lot of it too was your pain from your foot from being injured. You drank because you wouldn't feel the pain.
Yeah, I mean,
Like
she's a
that
friend.
was a
My injury in
big
Iraq,
part.
I had an injury. I won't get too much into it, right? But my injury became a lot of pain for sure, right? And it
Yeah.
was OxyContin. I didn't want to take so much OxyContin, so the alcohol became the new medicine for me, or the hard liquor became the new medicine for me to use. Uh, and now looking back, right, a lot of times I would kind of use my injury as a
Hmm.
excuse. I
Right.
need more hard liquor.
That's
I
kind of what
need
I
to
was
drink.
saying.
I need this. It's my pain. It's my discomfort. I need this. I need this. But in reality, again, looking back, is that did I really need it? I really didn't need it. But again, I had no one else to help me. The VA didn't help me. No one else was helping me. It was just always, well, hey, here's some hard liquor. That'll help. And again, society approves hard liquor. Culture approves hard liquor. Everywhere we go does. So it's just, hey, this is what I'm going to do to help numb my pain physically and mentally. And it just started kind of growing from there. Again, never out of hand.
No.
Never had alcoholic issues, but it just became so much part of the life.
But here's the other thing too. The other thing is, David could drink a whole bottle like by himself. Like his tolerance is like when I'm talking like his tolerance, like he could literally drink a Costco size vodka bottle and not be like blacked out. That to me is just insane. And there were definitely periods during this time where like I wouldn't know what was going on just because I don't know, like I didn't drink as much as him. First off, I have what's called celiac disease, so it's not even drinking is not even good for you.
Well, you could drink hard liquor though.
Yes, but
Okay.
I would always throw up. I mean,
Yeah.
who wants to throw up? Like I just didn't like it. So I would just drink more for I guess like the social setting in essence.
Yeah, so I mean, that was probably a good 3 to 4 year period, just being out of the Marine Corps, being injured, disabled, losing that, and just that typical hard liquor alcohol journey on there that was just progressing, right? And then, eventually, like a lot of people married in their 20s, we had our kids eventually, and alcohol was
Later
still
on.
around, right?
Not as
Obviously,
much, I
uh,
would say.
obviously, when she was pregnant, she never drank at all when she was pregnant at all, right?
Right.
But alcohol is just around. So we had our kids, life kept evolving. We had our jobs. But I worked in the financial industry, the stock market sector on there, and man, every work event, every award ceremony, what was it? Always hard liquor, always open bar, always free. So my job field, even it was always like almost heavily encouraged and almost looked down upon if you didn't drink. So I was like, hey, it felt like being back in the Marine Corps again. Of hey, if you want to be part of the crowd and you want to be part of the award ceremonies, you got to start drinking more. Hey, it's an open bar. There's a bartender. So even in the financial sector I worked in for years, it was just always conferences, award ceremonies, outings. Hard liquor and bartenders were always free. They were
Yeah.
always there. It was always cocktail hours. It's always rubbing elbows. So it was just very heavily enforced in my job place, that financial sector market, that hey, if you want to fit in, if you want to be in that 1%, you want to keep getting awards, like, hey, you know what? Hard drinking is just part of the culture we're in.
And I would say for me, being a mom, a mom of little kids, wine was probably my drink of choice, and it wasn't
For me.
white wine. It was red wine, and it was strong wine, and I would have that like wine and cheese and kind of like that again social setting, but red wine like that gets you really buzzed, so to speak. And we David and I would have, at night we'd have wine. But here's the thing, I think being parents, when you're drinking, you're not really all there, right? Not giving your full 100%. So there were definitely times where I would be tipsy or whatnot and not be my best self or my best mom self, with my kids. And so that probably has a lot of guilt. But again, I did it in social settings, to kind of feel blended in, like David said.
Yeah, so I mean, again, so we had our young kids on there going through our late 20s on there, still just drinking on occasion here and there. But, again, looking back, it's starting to add up. We could see things now. And, ultimately, like she was saying, we hit our 30s, right? And in our early
Yeah.
30s, that's when I would say the alcohol really got even more so prevalent. And predominantly, we had lots of friends, events, house parties, pool parties, just hanging out on a Friday, hanging out on a Saturday with
Yeah.
various friends and groups. But what was the one thing? It was always
Always hard
hard liquor.
liquor.
Every house, every neighbor, every event. It was just, that's what you did. You go to a house, there's hard liquor everywhere, beer everywhere, right? Or you bring something everywhere. So it became even more common that, like, oh, I guess when you're in your 30s, and I guess when you're married and you have kids,
With
and
around
you go
people
to a game night, a pool party night, a barbecue night,
or
whatever,
drinking.
it was just always tons of hard liquor, tons of alcohol, heavily encouraged, heavily supported. And again, so we just became more and more into, like, this is just a normal part of
Yeah,
life. This is just
absolutely.
how it should be, I guess. This is the way it just is. And so again, we're guilty of that, right? Again, never got alcoholic on there, never got drunk, but did we absolutely get buzzed a lot of times? Sure. Did we also get a lot of complacency sometimes? We just got lazy, wanted to sit on the couch? Absolutely, we did, right?
Yeah, I would say too, like for me as a female, I can't just drink liquor by itself. So I would obviously mix it with, sugar, right? Dr. Pepper, and Captain Morgan, like just mixing the drinks and one, two, three, four, you lose count. And then before you know it, you're just not in a good place and you're just having surface level conversations at that point and slurring and things like that.
Yeah, because when you're in an environment where, like, everyone's drinking, right? Every person at a party or a get together, let's just call it, or whatever, a weekend thing. Or that it became weeknights, right? Hey, let's watch a game, let's do
Yeah.
this, right? It literally just became part of life, and I felt like this is just what life is. This is what society, culture, this is just what it is. It's just drinking's part of it. And again, we didn't lost sight of that when we were in it. We were just kind of,
We
hey,
were in
this is
it.
it.
We were in it.
And I would say, as a couple years went on, right, we kind of hit then our mid 30s that we're kind of currently in right now. And, I would really say about 2 years ago, especially for us, right? And
Yeah.
again, our own experiences, again, no judgment here at all.
Mm-mm.
Our own experience, we just started noticing, like, wow, like, I am drinking a lot. Like, we're drinking often, we're drinking a bottle of hard liquor. And we started just to
It
notice.
just
Now,
was
again,
becoming
we,
like,
we have hardships in life, right? I mean, life sometimes is shitty. Life is not easy, right? Work struggles, family struggles, personal struggles, right? So you want to mask all those emotions. You want to hide from all those emotions. You don't want to think about any of that stuff,
no.
right? So what do? You drink, because when you drink, it suppresses all those memories. It numbs all those memories. It numbs all
Hmm.
that pain. And
You
so
let
that,
loose. You
yeah,
let
yeah, you
loose. You're
let
not
loose,
uptight. You're more free.
right? You can let your guard down. You can
Hmm.
have your inhibition, so to speak, let loose. And we just started to notice within our own selves that this was becoming kind of an issue, and we're masking all this.
An excuse.
All right. And then we started, again, no judgments here, but we started to notice that every person that we'd hang out with or our friends we'd hang out with, we started to notice, hey, everyone's really drinking because they're not truly happy with who they are within. They truly don't love who they are within. So they're masking their own self, they're masking their own marriage issues, their own
Hmm.
relationships,
Yeah.
they're masking their own struggles, they're masking everything that's out there because society has just taught us that's what you do. And we started just seeing so much pain and hurt and darkness and guilt and fakeness with all this alcohol from so many people, relatives of ours. And again, we're guilty ourselves. I'm guilty
Yeah.
myself 100% on there. And we just started to really kind of look deep within ourselves and just start to wonder, like, do we really want this for our lives? And
Our kids. I think for
yeah.
me, like the breaking point was where, I got a little bit overly intoxicated too much because I was at a party and we had our kids with us because, we don't we want them around, right? But, when you're drinking one after the other, I mean, my kid was crying and I had no idea. I was not the best mom and I felt absolutely horrible. And and I remember David, the next morning, like he holds me accountable, which I'm so grateful for, was like, you will never do that again. And I never put a drink to my lips after that. So like for me, it's more like I want to be the best role model, the best influence for my kids. And, obviously when there was alcohol around, I was not 100% present for them. And, as a parent, like, that your kids are your life and like you're there to protect them. And if you're not your full self, like how are you going to protect them? So like for me, that was my tipping point, was that that night, and just not being fully there and feeling like shit. And so yeah.
Yeah, and we had lots of moments like that. I mean, I had lots of moments on my side of the interview, and then again, back to the point from being a Marine and being hurt. Right, it got to a point again where I started to use my injuries as a scapegoat. I started to use life as a scapegoat. I started to use being a husband or a father as a scapegoat to justify my drinking on there. And it got to a point at parties, like so many people, I'd be like, "Did I just drink a Costco-sized bottle of vodka in
Yeah.
one night,
Yeah.
and I'm not drunk even?" And that started to happen often, where I was drinking a whole bottle of liquor at a house thing, and next thing you know, like everyone's drinking all this. And I'm like, listen, like I need to pause and really think about this here. And we joke, but man, I would say a good year, I would always tell her, I'm gonna stop drinking.
Oh yes.
I'm gonna stop drinking. For a year, this went on and
Or
on and
it was
off.
more like, I would say this. So, David would tell me like, I'm gonna quit drinking for a month. There's holidays and things like that. I'm like, okay, like great. I think it's a fantastic idea. Um, David's what I called back then an opportunist,
Yeah.
which basically is, hey, if there's bottle of alcohol out and somebody offers you a drink, you're gonna do it. So that's kind of what he was back then.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I heard this, story or whatever remark probably 6 to 10 times before he finally hit the nail in the coffin.
Yeah, I mean, just numerous times, right? Totally guilty of that. But it was hard because, like I said, everywhere I went, people are always bringing me drinks, offering me drinks. And again, word ceremonies, events, outings, barbecues, birthdays, holidays, Christmas. It was always just drinks
Friends
being offered,
get-togethers.
right? I mean, going out, drink. So it's just like, even when I kept saying I want to quit, the pressure to continue, or the opportunity, like she was saying, to
Mhm.
continue, was just so relevant that I kept doing that. And then again, our own personal experiences, right? We started noticing, again, our own selves from so many people, how much just darkness and low vibrations and low frequency
Yes.
that this alcohol was causing amongst individuals, amongst friendships, amongst people's own marriages, their own loving relationships, then with their kids. And I was just like, I want nothing to do with this. I need to do something, because this is not the person I want to be. It's not the person I want to become. And there really is zero benefit from this. Whether it's
No.
for your health wise, mentality wise, or your soul wise, there's no benefit from alcohol that I have ever seen or been through. And so, I would say for me, I went drinking from junior high age just until about like my mid 30s, just drinking all the time. And, for me personally, it got to a very dark spot with running my own business as a business owner, a father, a husband, so many friend situations, drama situations. And it was just kind of like life just kind of bundled up this massive black hole of darkness. And it kind of said to me at a point in my life, hey, David, like, you're either gonna be down this dark pit, or you gotta like wake the fuck up and you gotta make a change. And that's when I kind of had my divine intervention, where God, universe, source, love, light just really spoke to me. And she always remembers one day I literally woke up, went in our pantry, and I just dumped out hundreds of dollars of hard liquor right down the drain.
Yep.
Threw it all away. And again, goosebumps while I sit here. And I've never looked back since.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I obviously, because I've seen this before, I was like, okay, I'll believe it when I see
Yeah,
it.
here we go again.
Yeah, exactly. But I remember that moment. I remember that day so vividly, because that's the day David started like his transformation, I would say, journey, whatnot. And it's just been incredible, like watching him grow, and just how, like David said, there are zero benefits to alcohol. I think for me, like I don't consider myself to have an addictive personality, which I'm very grateful for. So I just did it, to just be social, like I've been saying. And it was never a need for me. It was never a want for me. It was just, hey, it was there, we're all together. Um, but again, I just think that the benefits of being alcohol free have just been insurmountable. And just, you know, there's you also, when you're alcohol free, like, you just have a different, like, clarity. So it's not like we've been saying, we're not judging, we're not like telling people, hey, don't drink alcohol around us. No, we encourage that. Like, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. I think for me, it's refreshing because I have clarity. I'm more present, and I'm my true self. Like, I don't need that to mask anything.
Yeah, and I guess just so you know too, like when I quit drinking, I never told her she had to. I never
No.
told her like, hey, you need to stop. So I mean, she kept, again, we're not trying a lot, but she kept having her margaritas here and there and her wines there for several months.
Like, I would
So I
say
mean, for me,
six.
I would say, to this date of this video, I'm about a year and a half, 100% sober from all alcohol. And obviously, have I been tempted? 100%. Do I still go to awards and events that have bars and open bars? 100%. All 100%. But you know what? I, hand to God, no longer have any desire, no longer have the I should take a sip. It has just been taken out of me and it's been removed completely. And that's my own self. But I always told her, listen, you do you, right? If you want to have some wine, you want some margaritas, you do you. And I think she probably drank for another 3 to 4 months,
Yeah.
give or take, until on her own accord, I couldn't let her say, until her own accord, she kind of made her own choice.
Yeah, no, it was like I said, that night of the party. And I decided the next morning, when he confronted me, and I was like, you know what, you're right. Like, zero benefits. Like, I've seen, how you're progressing, and it's something that I want to partake in as well. Um, and I think too, what just truly helps, just because I've heard this from those that are kind of going through, being sober or whatnot, and maybe they're on the rebound or whatever, is being okay with not drinking. So when you're at a party, having that glass of water and not feeling like, oh my gosh, they're going to look at me, they're going to be weirded out, but just sticking to your truth. I think that that's the biggest thing. Is we still go to parties, we still go to events, but having water, having soda instead.
Yeah, so for me, stopping the alcohol was in part, a divine change. And I say the old David has literally died, shedded. I've transformed into, I love myself now. And in part, alcohol was a huge part of getting rid of that, right? But I love who I am. It allowed me to find a new way to cope. And honestly, I found meditation, right? Meditation to me became my new coping mechanism for stress, for fear, for anxiety, for clarity, for insight. And my meditation journey, I can't even put into words. I post a lot on Facebook about my meditation journey. I post a lot out there. I help others in meditation journey, right? But just the profound peace, I can say, the profound acceptance of oneself, the profound acceptance of I love who I am and I don't care what others
You
think
don't need
anymore.
validation from others.
There are no words that can describe how meditation and my connection with God, love, light, source, energy, whatever you want to call it, has become profoundly sublime. That led to a number of other wonderful gifts, but that's not part of this video. This video is just focused on our alcohol journey. But yeah, I was in meditation, and to this very day, I don't miss an ounce of the alcohol at all. I don't care if people are drinking around there.
Yeah.
However, there is some irony in this, in that when we stop drinking, so many friends and peoples and parties and clubs and groups we were part of, that was like, hey, we love David and Ashley because they're drinkers.
Yeah.
We love David and Ashley because they drink with us. Yeah.
I would say yes. So I like that David touched on that, because there's definitely been, since we've stopped drinking, our group of friends that we used to do the drinking with, we no longer are associated with them, and that's by their choice too, because we don't drink. So we have lost friends, along
Which is okay,
the way,
though. It's
which
okay.
is absolutely fine. No, what I'm just trying to say is, we did lose friends, but we have other friends. I think the biggest thing is that and I say this to David, like, the friends that drink around us, and I like that. It's the friends that don't feel comfortable drinking around us. That's where I'm like, ugh.
Well,
So
to clarify, which is that she likes that. She doesn't mean she likes the fact that people are drinking. She likes
no,
the fact that people are
comfortable.
comfortable
That's why I said
by
comfortable.
being who they are, their own
Yeah.
selves, to drink around us, right? Because we don't care, again, if you drink. You're in your own journey, you're in your own life, nothing but love and respect for you. It's just we want people to be in our lives that are comfortable being who they are, whoever that might be. And again, nothing but love, but it's our own fault, right? We people fell in love the people we used to be. We're no longer those people, and we're nothing but love and light now. And most people in life, they cannot handle being around people who are not drinking, because the irony is they are more uncomfortable being around people who don't drink than they are around people who do drink. And that's just like a mind blowing there.
Yeah, no, it's like their true, like they don't want to face their true selves, right? So in my experience or my perspective is I felt like people use the drinking as an excuse to quote unquote lose their inhibitions or be a different
Yeah,
person than their true selves.
100%.
And
Yeah.
so what I'm finding through this new perspective from the outside looking in instead of the inside looking out, and I've been saying that, is that now that we don't drink and we're clear, like have clarity, it makes those that don't have that uncomfortable. So like that's the biggest thing.
Yeah, and again, we're guilty ourselves. We've been in it,
Oh yeah.
and I'll never look back on it. And I
Mm-mm.
would just say, like, your own journey. And there's so much more to our spiritual journey. We have in other videos we've
Yeah.
talked about it, right, and as well. So, but alcohol was a big component of it. And again, we're parents. We got kids. We have a business, right? We have a life. We're like so many other people out there where we're active. We go to events, go to awards. So we would 100% are aware of what's going on. And I believe we're slowly starting to live in a culture where we're starting to embrace more of the alternatives that are healthier. We're starting to embrace mocktails, starting to
Yeah.
embrace healthy choice drinks. And there's lots of amazing mocktails. There's lots of healthy choice drinks out there that you could still have as a special drink or a special celebration. It doesn't have to have alcohol in it, which we love doing ourselves. And again, this is just our story. We want to share with people in part on how alcohol is just always around. It's ingrained. It's part of society. It still is part of society. But we want to let other parents know that they're not alone like we used to be too.
Well, I'll also say this too, like since stopping drinking, like I mean, let's talk about, our lifestyle changes.
Yeah.
I mean, the gym, right? Like David had, 18 months ago, 40 pounds like more on him and
25,
25.
25.
Okay, so 25. But that was all due to the alcohol. And since he's stopped drinking, like he's leaner. I call him my yogi. He's still lifting. I mean, doing things natural. And just the pure benefits of just doing things natural and having this lifestyle change and cutting out the alcohol, working out, going to the gym, the spiritual aspect. So like that's been huge too.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I always equate it to mind, body, and soul. And I mainly quit alcohol majority wise for my mind and my mentality. It just so happened that by me going to the gym still and living my fitness life, by not having alcohol, man, it is incredible, right? The amount of pure body fat percentage I've lost and the lean muscle mass I've maintained, and the way my body looks, the way it feels, the strength, my cardiovascular,
Yeah.
all from not having alcohol, that has been profoundly optimized, without any question. In addition to my own soul's journey, connection with God and Source has become so much closer that oftentimes, I believe that there might be some kind of hidden agenda out there to have all this
The
alcohol.
control,
Because, right,
right?
because people in power society, they don't want you to be in control of your body. They don't want you to be in control of your mind. They don't want you to have a greater connection with God or life itself. And that's my belief and my journey on here. But yeah, the just the physical body effects of not having alcohol for 18 months, incredible. The way I feel in the mornings when I get up, when I sleep at night, I don't have
No
any more
longer.
stress or negativity on there as much. Just the after
We
effects
don't
in
have
addition.
arguments as
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
I mean,
they're
man, having arguments when
yeah.
you're drunk is not good. You're just running around in circles. You say hurtful things. I think that was also just a horrible disconnect between David and I when we both drank and we would get into little arguments, nothing huge, but words would be said. And then we wake up the next morning like, I'm so sorry, but not good. I would say another thing, just like being real, is we're saving a lot of money.
Right. I mean,
You
again,
know,
but that was never part of our thing. That's
no,
just a
but
byproduct of it.
it's just another
Yeah.
thing to add on. When we go out to restaurants and stuff, like having water, that saves us money. Because alcohol is expensive, especially if you have fancy ones like I used to have. But what brings me when David was talking about mocktails was we were in Vegas and like the bartenders were alcohol free themselves, which that was pretty cool
Yeah,
too.
yeah. I can't believe we were in Vegas just a few months ago here. How many clubs or bars or events we went to, and we would tell the bartender or the waiter, like, "Hey, we don't drink alcohol. Do you have like a cool mocktail here?"
Oh,
Oh
I
my
had
gosh,
such a good
I would
one.
say, I think every bartender,
Yeah.
about seven or eight of them, are all said, "Hey, we don't drink either. We give up too," and they're mocktails. So it was very welcoming and
Hmm.
very loving, just to
Yeah.
say, "Hey, we get you right," and not have those offers. So if you go to a bar or a club or whatever with your friends, don't be afraid to ask for non-alcoholic. Don't be afraid to ask for a mocktail, because 9 times out of 10 they have something. Or every time a bartender will absolutely make you a delicious non-alcoholic drink
Yeah.
if it's not even on the menu.
I think too, what it really boils down to is control of self, if that makes sense.
Not easy.
No, no, not at all. But like when you truly set your mind to something and you're like, you know what, like it's not going to be easy. It's not, right? But when you truly set your mind to something and truly see the benefits, you have that control over yourself to flee from temptation,
Yeah.
right? You hear that. Um, and so, again, like David said, like we have like we're not missing anything. But I do know because I'm in part of groups and stuff on Facebook for being sober that a lot of the struggle is within and like afraid of judgment, right? And when you truly love yourself, like you don't need that validation from others. So for me personally, I'm like, hey, I'm good. Like I don't need this person to tell me, to have a drink because that's not good for me. That doesn't serve me.
Yeah, and again, and alcohol was one major component of that, and we understand why so many people still drink, right? And we got nothing but love for you, and
No, yeah.
we just want it to be raw and real. That we've been through it for like a decade, right? Been through it for a long time. We were in
Over a
it, right?
decade.
We ourselves in life, but also the most importantly is like the profound impact on our children.
Yes.
Has been amazing because our own kids, they'll go, "Mommy and Daddy don't drink alcohol.
Oh, they
Other
love
people
it.
do.
They
Our
love
mom or
it.
dad don't drink." So just the, I can't put it in words, but the profound impact we can make
Impact.
on our kids through our own actions, through our
Yes.
own beliefs, through our own words to mouth. Our kids see it, our kids live it, our kids feel it, right? And so our family has become much more loving, much more light, much more in truth with oneself. But again, right, it's very hard to get out of that tunnel. And we're all in so much darkness, pain, and suffering that if you don't have someone to talk to, if you
Right.
don't have a friend, a family
Somebody to
member, a
hold you
stranger,
accountable.
whether it's a professional therapist, whether it's a counselor, anybody, right? It's very challenging to get out of that. And it takes a lot of time and you got to dig deep. And there's a lot of pain, there's a lot of suffering. Like when you do Dark Nights of the Soul, you do shadow works, you really dive deep into it. You give it your all. Buckle up. It's going to suck real
Yeah.
bad, right? You're going to real hate yourself for a long time. But you need to go into that deep within that soul, take off the
Real.
mask, because you can hide from others. You can hide from yourself, but you know what? You can't hide from your true subconscious, your true inner soul. It knows who you really are. And you got to dig into that really on there. So, again, we really made this. I felt
Yeah.
just God calling out there, just
To
wants to
be
show
raw and real.
so many married couples, so many people in their 30s on there that you do have a chance. It is not too late if you choose to. I mean, if you enjoy drinking, right, and that's what you
Yeah.
like, do you be what's happy in you. But if you're that person that's just kind of like, why am
Why
I
am I doing
drinking?
this?
Am I doing it? Is it just part of life, part of society? Why am I doing this? There is a way out, right? You're not alone. But if you like drinking, again, continue to do what's best for you. Continue to do how you want to live your life. But if you know deep down within it's not your true loving self or your true calling, there are ways to get out, right? There are people out there,
And you're
believe it
not
or not.
alone.
We've met a lot of couples slowly over time, not a lot of couples, a lot of people that are becoming part of the, hey, we no longer drink,
Yeah.
we don't drink, we don't drink. And again, no judgment from
No.
us at all. Please understand that. Our current friends know that as well. But we just wanted to share honest, raw truth with you here that, you do have an option and there are better choices out there. And that we firmly believe that if your mind, body, and soul, there really is zero benefit for the alcohol that's there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, I would just say that, like, if this video has spoken to you, the greatest step that you can take, is having like a tumbler and taking that and filling it up with water. Like that's a great thing to do too.
Or juice, or like those
Juice.
little those meal
Yeah.
squeezers, those water freshener
Yeah.
squeezer things.
Because nobody has to know, right? Like nobody's gonna ask you, oh, what are you drinking? No, it's just a comfortable thing. People take tumblers all the time. You don't know if it's filled up with water or not. So that's a great step to
Yeah, well, speaking of, right, so we actually we would actually have the same kind of glasses at parties and events with just water or Diet Coke in them. Not for us, it was to make so many people feel comfortable just being around us, because people, when they see a bottle of water in their hands, they would freak out.
Yeah,
So we
that's
would,
true.
for the sake of others' comfort and for the sake of just trying to help others out, we would just bring drinks or cups, whatever, with water or juices in them,
Mhm.
just to help other people feel comfortable in their own skin, because we don't want you to feel anxious. We don't want you to feel
No.
stressed or you to feel awkward. So that has just been our own journey. But again, I believe we're starting to wake up in this society. I believe we're starting to wake up in this culture. I believe that late 20-year-old crowd is starting to see these healthy alternatives and these healthy choices on there. And it's really our sincere hope this starts a conversation. It starts a dialogue. Feel free to comment below here. We'd love to hear
Yes.
your thoughts and opinions. We're not perfect either.
No.
But again, this has just been, my own journey from a kid to a combat disabled Marine to a husband, father, a business owner, and to this incredible gift of God and light and love and source I'm at now, where I can say I love myself and I found peace with myself. No judgments whatsoever to anyone who's out there. We just want to get this message out. We just want to help as many as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been incredible, being on this journey and truly loving myself, because that was something that I struggled with for a long time, and it wasn't until about, I would say, a year ago almost that's happened, and I've never looked back. So as David said, like old David, new David, old Ashley, new Ashley, and I'm here for it, and it's okay, right? Like this is my personal choice. This is our personal choice. And we just wanted to share, our journey and what's kind of going on and how we can help others if there are those that this speaks to.
Yep, so it might take you several months, might take you several years. I mean, who knows? It's a process, but it 100% can be done.
Absolutely.
I believe you'll 100% feel better, mind, body, soul, and spirit if you choose to go along this journey with you. But again, we're not alone. Let's share this video. Let's get the truth out there. Let's start a conversation. So people that are like us, that are married, that are out there, other veterans, they know there's choices. They know there's options. Again, not easy, but it can be done.
And you're not alone.
Yep. So we just want to send you, as always,
And
abundance and
of
love,
light, and life.